Good morning to you, Tracey. Very quick rebuttal from Downing Street, some might say, before perhaps we've had the chance to properly debate all of this. What's your view? Do you think, they're controversial, but is there an appetite perhaps growing for them, given the way we live now?
Oh, absolutely. I think from about 2016, 17, I'd noticed that we were starting to need more digital verification and authentication because obviously a lot of our public sector services are becoming digitised. But it's not so much a digital identity card that's being proposed. It's a set of what they call verifiable credentials, which might sit in a digital wallet. So in a sense, we're echoing what we do in the physical world, but with a digital version. I think that's quite an important point to make, really. It's not a card. It's some credentials that are given to you that you then use in the way you want to and only share the information that you want to with certain people. So it's privacy protecting. And I think that's a very, very important point.
I suppose in a world where none of us go anywhere without a mobile phone, it would be ever so handy to have your passport, your driving licence on there. Speaking as someone who picked up her daughter's passport recently, went off on holiday and then couldn't go because I got the wrong one. Always got my phone. But the world's moved on, perhaps.
Well, I totally get what you're saying in terms of convenience. Whether it's a passport, whether it's a national insurance number, whether it's your driving licence, we could go on and on and on. And you can have all that for convenience sake. But equally, Tracey, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be jumping out of their skin and go, oh, that infringes my human rights. That is the big brother state taking over. So there is this massive practical aspect to all of this, which would help all of us in our day-to-day lives. And there is this intrusion aspect as well.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I think what's happening is there are lots of different types of digital identity system. So, for example, in China, as you probably know, they have a kind of social credit scoring system, but they have a unique identity. I think it's 18 digits, and that is linked to lots of the services that they access. Similarly, there is the Aadhaar system in India. Again, that is anchored with a biometric, in fact, two biometrics. I think it's fingerprint and facial recognition, like a face print. And that's a system that gives access to government services. But again, that is very centralised. What we're talking about in the UK, which is already underway, which is one of the interesting and odd things about this intervention from Tony Blair and Lord Hague, is it's already underway that we have a decentralised system where we are given credentials that don't allow the government to track us necessarily. Nobody's really looking at every time we do an interaction. It's really more about sharing the data in an encrypted way so that we do have our privacy protected and so that we aren't, as you say, in a situation where we have our civil liberties infringed, and certainly in a way that we're not even, we don't have any knowledge of who's looking at our personal data. With the verifiable credentials in these sorts of new systems, they sit in your digital wallet and you have absolute control over how they're used. Well, that is the theory anyway.